One of the biggest frustrations in learning to speak French is the feeling that you have all the ingredients, but you can't follow the recipe. Even if you know the vocabulary, or you know some of the rules, when you try to connect them into a fluid sentence, it all falls apart. And often the problem is with the small words, the small glue words, like for instance that, like in the movie that I saw, or the bag that is on the table. It's the same word in English, but in French they are different. So today we learn and practice the different ways to say that in French. So que versus qui. And most methods overcomplicate this, which can make you freeze when you try to speak French. But here, I'm going to show you that there is a simple, logical rule that solves this problem forever. And you're going to use it instantly in spoken French. Because this is a French-speaking session. It's not a traditional course. We are doing a completely different method that makes you speak French. So you'll have to speak. And by the end of this video, not only you will know the rule, but most importantly, you will master this rule in spoken French. And you'll be ready to make these kind of French sentences confidently. We're not just going to learn it, we're going to speak it together until it becomes second nature. So let's start directly. You're going to say the chocolate that I eat in French. So first, how do you say to eat? I'm going to ask you to say words and sentences in French. So let's start now. Can you just say in French the verb for to eat? To eat is manger. That relates to a manger. So that can be a hack if you want to remember it. Manger. Now let's say the chocolate. Actually here it's easy, it's almost the same word in French. To say the chocolate in French you say le chocolat. And then in the sentence, the chocolate that I eat, here the that is que. So que, that's the basis. By default, that is que. So now can you say the chocolate that I eat? Just that. The chocolate that I eat. Le chocolat que je mange. And that's it. So here we're doing a speaking method. So it's very important that you focus on the sentences and that you make the sentences in French. That's how this method works, and that's how it will stick in your head. So, le chocolat que je mange. And you see that in this kind of sentences, the words order is the same as in English, so you don't have to worry about it. And now let's say the stuff that I take. So first, how do you say to take in French? Just to take. The verb for to take in French is prendre. That relates to comprehend, but without the com. And in French, the infinitive to take is prendre. Then do you know how to say the stuff in French? Just the stuff. Les affaires. So it's plural in French. Actually, you say the stuffs or the affaires. And usually when you say the stuff in English, what you mean in French is les affaires. And don't forget to say the S of les, because with articles and pronouns, you have to pronounce the last letter, the last consonant, when the following word starts with a vowel. So now, can you say the stuff that I take? Les affaires que je prends. And that's it. I don't write it on the screen. And I don't want you to take notes. Because if you want to become comfortable in spoken French, don't take notes. The notes hold you back. They keep you from talking. And this method makes you speak French if you just focus on the sentences and make the sentences in French. So here, the stuff that I take, les affaires que je prends. And now let's say, the bag that you put on the table. And here to say the verb to put, we're going to use the verb poser in French. Poser. So there are several ways of saying to put in French. Poser is the to put that you can use only when you put something solid on a flat surface. You use poser. And do you know how to say the bag in French? Just the bag. Le sac. So in English, it can sound a bit scientifical or biological, but in French, that's the regular word to say the bag. So, le sac. So now, how do you say the bag that you put on the table? With the informal you. And if you don't know how to say on the table, that's okay, just say the bag that you informal put. Otherwise, how do you say the bag that you informal put on the table? Le sac que tu poses sur la table. So the table is the same word in French, but with a French accent, and it's feminine in French, so the table is la table. And to say on, in French you say sur. When you mean the spatial, on. In English, on can mean different ideas depending on the context. And when you mean the location of someone or something, that on in French is sur. So, on the table, sur la table. Le sac que tu poses sur la table. So no surprise, but be careful, because in French, that is mandatory. Whereas in English, you have the choice. You can say the bag that you put on the table, and you can also easily say the bag you put on the table. In English, you can skip the that. And the sentence still works. So the bag you put on the table. The chocolate I eat. The stuff I take. It's fine in English, but in French, it doesn't work. You always have to say that in French. And here we are talking only about the that in the middle of sentences. It's not the that when you say, that's great, for instance. In the sentence, that's great, that is a subject. It means another idea, so that's something else in French. And it's not the that in I know that either. In the sentence, I know that, that is an object. So it represents another idea, so it's something else in French. In this video, we are talking about the that of connection, in the middle of sentences, like in the bag that you put on the table. So, le sac que tu poses sur la table. This, that is que. But not always. So now let's say the bag that is on the table. So here it's different. Usually that is que. That's the basis. But when that is directly followed by a verb, this that is qui. With an I. That sounds I. Qui. If you already know how to say who in French, you know that this who is also qui. That's the same word, but it means a different idea. Here we just practice that, and when that is directly followed by a verb, this that is qui. So now can you say the bag that is on the table? Le sac qui est sur la table. And that's it. That's just that. In the sentence, the bag that is on the table, you have a verb. Is directly after that. So for this that, you say qui. Le sac qui est sur la table. Now, how do you say there in French? Just there. There is là. It sounds exactly as the feminine the, but it means there. Là. So now can you say the bag that is there? Just that, just the bag that is there. Le sac qui est là. So same principle. You have that and just after a verb. So you say qui. Le sac qui est là. Now can you say the chocolate that is on the table? Just the chocolate that is on the table. Le chocolat qui est sur la table. So same principle, we have that and then just after a verb, so you say qui. Le chocolat qui est sur la table. Now let's say the stuff that is there. First, do you remember how we said the stuff? Just the stuff. Les affaires. So now let's say the stuff that is there. And be careful here, there's a little trap. So how do you say the stuff that is there? Les affaires qui sont là. So here the trap or the subtlety is that the stuff is plural in French. So you say the stuffs or the affaires. So the affaires that are there. And you may wonder how to conjugate the verb directly after that, directly after qui in French. So you conjugate the verb as if there were no that. So like the stuff is there or the affairs are there. It's like they are there. Because you can replace the noun, the affairs, by the pronoun they. They are there. So this are is sont. Les affaires qui sont là. And now can you say the stuff that is on the table? Just the stuff that is on the table. Les affaires qui sont sur la table. So same principle with on the table, but anyway, just after that, you have a verb. So this, that is qui. So les affaires qui sont sur la table. But now, let's go a bit further. Let's increase the level. And just before, if you like this way of learning to speak French, I have a complete program that makes you speak French confidently. You can try it for free, and I tell you more at the end of the video. And now let's say, the bag that I take, and that is there. So now you know everything you need to say this sentence in French. So first, can you just visualize how to say the bag? Just the bag. And how do you say to take? And then how do you say there? Just the word there. So now let's say this sentence block by block. So first, let's say the first block. Can you say just the bag that I take? Le sac que je prends. So here we have that I take. So that, and directly after, not a verb. Here it's a pronoun, but it's not a verb. So here it's the usual case. So that is que. Le sac que je prends. And then let's add, and that is there. So just and that is there. Et qui est là? So in the block, and that is there, we have that, and just after a verb. So here we say qui, et qui est là. And now can you say it in one sweep? Can you say the bag that I take, and that is there? But still think block by block. Don't rush. So the bag that I take, and that is there. Le sac que je prends et qui est là. So here we have to that in English, but they are different in French. Now can you say the chocolate that I eat and that is on the table? So directly in one sweep. But don't rush. What's really important is that you understand what you're saying. So really think block by block. The chocolate that I eat and that is on the table. I'll let you the time to think about it and to say it in French. So how do you say the chocolate that I eat and that is on the table? Le chocolat que je mange et qui est sur la table. So that's always the same principle. When you have that and no verb just after, but a pronoun or a noun or anything but a verb, you say que. And when you have that and then directly just after a verb, you say qui. Le chocolat que je mange et qui est sur la table. Now can you say the stuff that is there and that I take? So again, don't rush. Think of it block by block. I'll let you the time to think, really understand what you say. And can you say in French, the stuff that is there and that I take? Les affaires qui sont là et que je prends. So here the first that was followed by a verb. The stuff that is. So this that is qui. Les affaires qui sont là. And then the second that was followed by not a verb. So here it's que. Et que je prends. Les affaires qui sont là et que je prends. And this is how you really manage to speak French in real life, with this kind of guided speaking. So not by learning by heart words and rules, because learning by heart does not train you and does not make you understand how the language works. And that's why most people freeze when they try to speak French. But when you practice in a smart way, as we just did, that's how you start thinking in French. And that's how you can speak French naturally. But now, if you want to talk to French people in French, you need a whole consistent program that covers all what you need to speak French. So you can try my program with the link in description. It's a program designed just for that, to make you speak French confidently. It starts with a free masterclass that makes you master the main grammar points that you need to speak French confidently. With more than 4 hours of videos. They are split into 10 minutes videos, so it's very easy to follow. and you can already make sentences confidently in spoken French. You get it with the link in description, and I see you there.